Hi, it's Kristen, and I'm going to read some classic books at Christmas time. A few years ago, I made a similar video where I read The Railway Children and part one of Little Women at Christmas time, and I had such a lovely, cozy Christmas. And I thought, let's do that again. And I've been meaning to do it for years, but I haven't got around to it. So I thought this year I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to read some classics from like just before Christmas through to like New Year's sort of time. And also just to like get some books that have been on my TBR for a while off my TBR. So first up, I'm going with like a more modern classic, and I'm really intrigued to read The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. This isn't typically a book that I feel like I would enjoy. It's just about a bunch of like young lads who are like maybe in like rival gangs and the dynamics and relationships involved in that. And like books about young men I'm always a bit iffy about, but I enjoyed Lord of the Flies, I enjoyed Holes, so like I could enjoy this. But it's also just a really well loved like modern classic. I think it came out in the 70s. Yeah, definitely a modern classic. Just intrigued to get to it. And then I thought alongside a more modern classic, I would go for like a proper like old classic. And I'm finally gonna read Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This is a story that I really love. I've seen like multiple adaptations of it. The Toby Stephens Ruth Wilson adaptation is one of my favorite period drama adaptations of all time. I love it. I love the gothicness and the atmosphere. So I've been meaning to read this for years and just never got around to it. And it's one of my mum's favorite books. My sister really enjoyed it. And I don't know why I haven't read this yet. Every year I go, I'm gonna read Jane Eyre around like Christmas time. I just haven't. So like I finally need to get to this. This is about a young woman called Jane Eyre who grows up in this like boarding school, doesn't have a great childhood. So when she gets the opportunity to be a governess to a young girl in Thornfield Hall, she like jumps at the chance and she goes there and she gets like pulled into this household where there are secrets, there's something going on. The owner of the hall is Mr. Rochester, and he and Jane have like a romance, but also he is hiding some secrets from his past. And yeah, I'm really excited. Like obviously I know the story, so like I know what's gonna happen. I'm not gonna be surprised by like any twists or reveals or anything, but I'm excited to just like finally read the actual original text. I've read from Emily Bronte before, but I've never read Charlotte Bronte. I have read some of her poetry. I studied the Bronte's poetry when I was in school, but I'm excited to read a novel. So yeah, these are my classics. It is Christmas time. Let's get to it. So far, we've mostly just had the characters being introduced, their like dynamics within their group, their dynamics with the other like gang in town, the sort of interactions and a bit of backstory between the Greases and the Socks. But something has just happened between Johnny and Ponyboy and a group of Socks that is gonna change things a lot, and I'm really nervous for Johnny and Ponyboy because although they might get into trouble, I think like they have such tough like family circumstances and like lives that I just like want them to be okay. it's just gone down. So I'm going to continue reading and just worry. Last night I finished reading The Outsiders. I read it all in like one evening. This was upsetting. I think in like the one clip I actually filmed like while I was reading this, because it's so short and I was just like wanting to get through it and find out what happened, I said that like a big thing had just happened with like Ponyboy and Johnny, and how I was like really worried and nervous with where it was going to go, and like I didn't feel like it could go anywhere good. And it didn't. Not that like the story's bad, but the circumstances were not good and upset me a lot. And I definitely cried while reading this at like multiple points. And oh, it's just one of those books, one of those stories that like, you know that every decision the characters make is just going to make things worse, and like they're just on a self-destructive path, and like the characters also kind of know that. They're like, if we do this thing, nothing good is going to happen, like we are going to get in trouble, people are going to get hurt, but like for our like honor and to like get revenge for our friend, or you know, XYZ reasons, they're like, we've got to do it anyway, even though we know it's going to be like tragic and we're going to make these dangerous decisions and just rely on each other. Oh, it's just upsetting, man. It's just really sad to watch all these like young men who have lived through such terrible circumstances and who, yeah, only have each other, have to get themselves in these situations where no good is going to come from it, and like whoever does survive these circumstances, whoever does get through this like terrible time, is gonna then have to live with like the fallout of everything. So all these young men who've like already lived through so much at such a young age and like lost people and just struggle. That's just really sad. Like, why am I tearing up? This is ridiculous. Yeah, I can see why it's held up as like a modern classic and why it's like studied in school, because also the way it's written is like very interesting, and it's like so simple but like evokes so much, and like I really felt for the characters in such a short amount of pages. So yeah, I get why it's considered a modern classic. I'm glad I read it, but like, am I? I won't lie, I wanted to originally get this vlog up like the weekend after Christmas. That obviously hasn't happened. I've just not been prioritising reading. I read The Outsiders so quickly, like read it in a day, and I was like, okay, I'll start Jane Eyre. And then, I mean, I should have known, Christmas got in the way. I've been seeing family, I've been seeing friends, and like in my downtime, been watching a lot of like Christmas movies, Christmas TV, all that sort of stuff. So I haven't like had a ton of free time, and in those moments I haven't necessarily been reading. So it has taken me like nearly a week to get like 80 pages into Jane Eyre. But also the beginning of this is like very much her when she's a child, living with her aunt and then going to Lowood School, and that bit is always like when I watch adaptations of it, the bit I'm like least into. But now she is at Thornfield Hall. We haven't yet met Mr. Rochester, but that's obviously going to happen soon. So I'm hoping that now I'm gonna like get into it a bit more. When I do have time to sit down and read like a chunk at a time, I am into it. I do like the writing. I am engaged, but I'm hoping now that like the story's getting a bit more exciting, I will be more inclined to like pick it up. And now that we're sort of past the immediacy of Christmas, I can like really get stuck into this one and finish it before the end of the year. So yeah, enjoying it, but like I've been taking my time with it, so now it's time to get into it. It's New Year's Eve. I am really worried I'm not going to finish Jane Eyre by the end of the year, and that's very frustrating to me. There were just days when like I didn't pick it up and I should have, and I'm very annoyed. But I have to work today, but I'm alone in the office this morning, like 8 till 12. I do have to go up to the bank at one point, but when I'm in the office, I think I'm gonna do the audiobook of Jane Eyre and get through like a bit more of it, because I tried an audiobook and I quite like the narrator, so I'm gonna stick with that, just pass the time, because like normally I'd listen to a podcast or something, so why not listen to audiobook. And then I gotta go into the drop-in in the afternoon, and then I'm running home, and then I'll see how far through the book I am and whether I can like try and finish it, or if it's just gonna have to be a book I finish on the 1st of January, which will be annoying, but you know. I'm enjoying the book. I've had like quite a few interactions between Jane Eyre and Mr. Rochester now. If you know the story, I've just had the scene where he pretends to be the like fortune teller. Mr. Rochester is, he's such like a shitty guy, but there's something about him that's slightly endearing. Like, is he a good guy? No. Would I actually want to like be in a relationship with someone like him? No. But he picks up on things with Jane that no one else notices. Like when she's realizes that like she's in love with him, and then he's like not around for a while, and she thinks that he's gonna like marry Blanche Ingram, and so she gets like all in her head about it, but she's like pretending to be fine, and he's like, oh, you're really quiet, and she's like, no, I'm fine, and he goes, I think you're depressed, and she's like, no, I'm not. But like he notices that like she's in her head, yeah, in a way that no one else does. So yeah, I think that dynamic is so interesting. So I'm gonna listen to more, and I'll update you later. I have so much beef with St. John in this book. He gets on my nerves so much. And like Jane is too good of a person when she's like, he's a good man, a great man, I just can't marry him myself. And I'm like, girl, no, he's not. He's irritating. He's so annoying. He's so up himself. He irks me so bad. And I won't hear a kind word for him. I God, he annoys me. Oh, he just doesn't listen to Jane when she's like, no, like I'll come with you, but like I love you as like a brother, like we're friends. And he's like, no, we're gonna have to get married, but like I won't love you and I won't really see you as a wife, but you have to be my wife. It's like, fuck off, dude. Yeah, can't stand that man. And with that, we are in the new year. This video did not go up when I wanted it to. Books took longer than anticipated, but I finished Jane Eyre. And I liked this one. I always knew I was going to like it. However, I think I did this book a disservice, because I thought I'd read it like the week of Christmas, and then I'd get this vlog up like the weekend after Christmas. And then I was so busy. I was busy with Christmas stuff, with family on like various different days. I was just busy. And so I wasn't picking this book up because I didn't have time to. And it was taking me longer to read than a normal book because like the language is a bit different. I can't like whiz through it the way I can like a contemporary book. So, you know, whereas normally I'd read like a page a minute, it was actually like a page every minute and a half, 2 minutes. Because also there are a lot of words that like are dated or whatever, and they have a little glossary in the back, so I was like checking back and forth on like certain meanings. So it just I wasn't picking it up as frequently as I would have, and then when I was reading it, it was taking me longer than it normally would. So my original timeline of I'll read this book in like 5 days obviously didn't happen. And then we were getting close to the end of the year, and I hate like carrying books from one year into another. So then I was just sort of in the mode of like, gotta finish it. And so I think I did a disservice. Like I switched back and forth between the audio and physically reading it. And there were points like when I was in work and I was listening to it on audio that actually that was fine. I was really concentrated because I just had to do a bunch of like more, not like mindless tasks at work, but I was like tidying, I was organizing, I was like restocking things. So it was like fairly easy stuff that I could do without thinking too hard about it because it was stuff I do all the time. So I didn't have to concentrate that hard. So then I could concentrate on my audio while I just got on with work. But then I was like realizing I wasn't necessarily going to finish in time for like all the stuff I had planned for like New Year's Eve evening. So then I was just like trying to get through the audiobook to finish the book. And yeah, I think I did this book a disservice because of that. I think it's a good thing actually I'd seen previous like adaptations, so I knew fully what was going on, because there were moments my focus was going a little bit, and when I was like at home doing stuff and listening to the audio, because I kept like listening in bits and pieces. So I blame myself for not enjoying this quite as much as I thought I could. Overall, I think the atmosphere is fun. The characters are like very like present characters. You really get a sense of who I think like everyone is in this book. Is it a pretty toxic relationship between Jane and Rochester? Yes. Am I still invested in their love story? Yes. And like the reveals and stuff, because there are a few reveals. I think like good that I'd already seen it so that I didn't like miss those reveals when my focus wasn't 100% there. However, if I like had no concept of the story of this and I had read it, like this book is kind of wild. Like everything that goes on and the like reveals and who's who and like who is like family and stuff. It's like, yeah, really wild. So like you get why this is a beloved book. And I honestly think that this could have been like 4-star higher for me. But I just really didn't give it the focus and attention that I think it deserved. So this is one that in like a couple of years, when I'm at a point where I've got nothing else going on, it's not near the end of the year, it's not like a busy time in my life, and I just have like nothing to distract me and I have time to read and I don't have other stuff on my mind, I would love to reread this. Because when I did sit down and read, like in earlier portions of the book when I still thought I had time, I was getting into it. It took me a little bit to get into, but once I was like a quarter of the way through, I was getting into it a lot more. So like quarter of the way through to like a third of the way through, when I was just reading it by myself physically, I was really like invested in this. But that didn't ultimately work out. I still enjoyed it. I still love the story. I really want to rewatch my favorite adaptation of it now because I love the story. So that needs to happen. So yes, I finally read Jane Eyre, but like slightly disappointing to me in that I didn't have the experience with it that I wanted to. I also think there's partially that element of like me hyping this up to myself, like thinking it's Jane Eyre and like I love the story of Jane Eyre and like various Jane Eyre adaptations. It's so iconic, it's right up my alley, like in the sounds of it, that like I had such lofty expectations and like of the book and this vlog. Like we're getting deep into like putting pressures on things and having expectations and ideals that don't work out. But also like I remember when I did the original version of this vlog years ago and I read The Railway Children and Little Women, and I had such a cozy, lovely Christmas reading these books. And like in between those books, not in the vlog because it wasn't a classic, I also read another fantastic book that is one of like my all-time faves now. Like I had a great reading week, I had a really like cozy Christmas that I was like, I'm chasing that. I'm chasing that high. I want that again. And so I kind of put pressure on this vlog, on myself, on these books, and I held them up to an expectation and I like wanted a thing that wasn't necessarily achievable. Gosh, we're getting into it now. That like I can't put pressure on a book and I can't put pressure on a certain time of year or a certain like theme or event that I have made to be this thing when actually like life gets in the way. Like I was busier than I thought I'd be. I had extra stuff going on. I was also like training for a marathon. I was running a lot, so I was tired a lot over Christmas. So like I think I need to just not get so in my head about picking up certain books. Because there was an element of like when I first picked this up and I was getting into it, I was like, I don't know that this is the time to read this. But I'd already said I was going to read it. I'd already started it. I've like meant to read Jane Eyre at like Christmastime for the past like several years and I haven't got around to doing it. So I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm finally gonna do it. Whereas actually like maybe I should have just read that fun Christmassy witchy rom-com book that I'd also planned to read around that time and then didn't have time to because I was too set on reading Jane Eyre. This makes it sound like I didn't like Jane Eyre. I do. I do like Jane Eyre. But I think I could like it more and have a better experience with it in the future if I actually like give it the time and focus that it should get. I think also there's an element of I'd read The Outsiders in a day because I was like, whizzed through this, let me get through this, as if they're like comparable. But that is two things that I've been meaning to read for a long time off my TBR. I liked them both. I got quite emotional with The Outsiders and Like, I'm glad that I have actually finally read Jane Eyre, even though I do like immediately have plans to read it again in the future. But yeah, two good books, an old classic, a modern classic. I've read some classics. It was around Christmas time and after. So yeah, and I feel like I've also just learned a lot about myself and what I want my reading goals to be going forth. No, I, for completely unnecessary reasons, stressed myself out at the end of the year with reading, which is supposed to be fun. Like, what am I doing? This is a hobby. Why am I stressing myself out about something that I'm supposed to just enjoy and have fun with? On that note, my next few videos, we're in the beginning of the year, they're going to be like a reading wrap up and like whether I achieved my goals of 2025, which one of them was to read more classics. And I'm gonna, now that I've ruminated on these thoughts, also do a 2026 goals of like, yeah, what I want to do reading wise, just like bookish goals in general. So those will be my next couple of videos. Did you read any classics this year? Have you got any goals to read any classics in 2026? Have you read either of these? Again, let me know down below, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!